All right, everyone, get ready, because today we're going deep, really deep into the world of Ken Langone.
Ken Langone, huh?
Yeah, the co-founder of Home Depot.
Oh, wow. Home Depot.
And, the guy behind the book, I Love Capitalism.
I love capitalism. Okay.
You might be thinking, oh, another business success story.
Right.
But this one, trust me, is different.
Oh,
It's like a battle cry for the free market system, but woven in with Langone's personal story.
okay. I like where this is going.
I mean, we're talking everything from like his early struggles with dyslexia,
Dyslexia.
navigating Wall Street, and then ultimately building a retail empire.
Yeah. It's a pretty amazing story. And it's not just a celebration of capitalism, though.
Yeah, right.
It's like a nuanced exploration of how it works.
Mm-hmm.
The potential pitfalls and why Langone believes it's the best system for, lifting people out of poverty and driving innovation.
When I was reading the book, one of the things that really struck me was how much Langone credits his working class upbringing.
Yeah. That's a common thread in a lot of these stories.
It really is. He grew up in Roslyn Heights, New York.
Okay.
His dad was a plumber,
Oh, wow.
and his mom worked in the school cafeteria.
So not exactly, born with a silver spoon.
Not at all. Not at all.
Right.
And he talks about how they instilled this powerful work ethic in him.
It wasn't just like telling him to work hard.
Yeah.
They modeled it every single day.
Exactly.
Like he saw firsthand the value of showing up,
Mm-hmm.
putting in the effort.
Taking pride in your work,
Yeah.
no matter what it was.
And it makes you wonder, what were some of the specific things they did or said
Yeah.
that really shaped his worldview? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, he talks about how his father was constantly fixing things around the house,
Okay.
never calling a repairman.
Right.
And he saw his dad solve problems creatively,
Mhm.
resourcefully. And I think that really imprinted on him. His mother, on the other hand, really emphasized the importance of education.
Mm-hmm.
She was determined that her children would have opportunities she never had.
So it's not just the classic, pull yourself up by your bootstraps narrative.
No.
It's about the values his parents instilled.
Exactly.
The lessons learned from watching them navigate their own challenges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's those lessons that he carried with him to Bucknell University,
Okay.
where he actually had to work multiple jobs to make ends meet.
Wow.
And later to Wall Street,
Yeah.
where he really cut his teeth in the world of finance.
Well, Wall Street, that's where he really honed his deal-making skills.
Right.
But for those of us who aren't finance wizards, can you break down what he actually did
Yeah.
and why it was so significant?
Absolutely. So Langone started out as a stockbroker,
Okay.
but he quickly rose through the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his early triumphs was taking Ross Perot's company,
Ross Perot.
Electronic Data Systems, EDS, Public.
Oh, yeah, EDS. I remember them.
This is what's known as an IPO, or initial public offering.
Okay, so for our listeners who aren't familiar with an IPO,
Yeah.
can you give us a quick explain it like I'm five version?
Sure. Imagine a company is like a pie.
A pie.
An IPO is basically slicing up that pie and selling those slices to the public.
Okay.
And it allows a company to raise capital for growth and expansion
Right.
while giving, everyday investors a chance to own a piece of that company.
So taking EDS public was a big deal because
It was a massive success.
Oh, wow.
It put Langone on the map as this savvy deal maker and helped him build this network of investors
Okay.
and contacts that would prove invaluable later on.
So this is where he started laying the groundwork for Home Depot,
Yes,
even if he didn't know it at the time.
precisely.
And it's also where his philosophy about capitalism really started to crystallize.
Yeah.
He saw firsthand how taking calculated risks, investing wisely, and creating value could lead to these extraordinary results.
Yeah.
Not just for companies, but for, the economy as a whole.
Speaking of Home Depot,
Yes.
I have to admit that the concept seemed pre-revolutionary at the time.
Yeah.
Like, who had thought that this giant warehouse
Right.
full of DIY supplies would become such a cultural phenomenon?
It was definitely a bold idea back then.
Yeah,
Home improvement was a much more fragmented market.
right.
People would go to different stores for lumber,
Yeah.
hardware, paint, and so on. Langone and his co-founders, Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank,
Yeah,
they envisioned a one-stop shop for everything
everything.
a homeowner or a contractor could possibly need.
But I imagine it wasn't easy convincing investors to buy into this vision.
Yeah, I mean, Were they met with skepticism?
Oh, absolutely. They faced a lot of resistance.
Really?
Investors were wary of the sheer scale of the operation
Okay.
and the untested concept. They questioned whether people would actually embrace this DIY approach.
Interesting.
But Langone, being the persuasive deal maker he is,
Right.
managed to secure the funding they needed.
Wow.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
It is.
Home Depot took off like a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's often overlooked is the culture they built within the company.
Yeah.
They empowered their employees in a way that was pretty uncommon at the time.
Right. They emphasized customer service, provided extensive training, and encouraged employees to, like, share their knowledge and expertise with shoppers.
Yeah.
They even started offering DIY workshops.
Right.
Which was like a brilliant marketing move.
Yeah, for sure.
It wasn't just about selling products.
Right.
It was about, empowering people to become more self-sufficient
Right.
and confident in, tackling home improvement projects.
It created a sense of community around the brand.
It did.
It wasn't just a store. It was like a resource.
Yeah.
A place where you could learn and connect with others who shared your interests.
Exactly.
And that customer-centric approach was a key driver of their success.
Yeah, it really was. But like any entrepreneur, Langone faced his share of obstacles along the way.
Yeah.
In fact, his journey to the top was anything but smooth.
Right.
His journey to the top, it was really something.
It really was. One thing that really struck me about his story was his openness about his dyslexia.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't shy away from it at all.
No, not at all. He's very open about it.
In the book.
It's incredibly admirable.
It is.
He talks about how in school he was often labeled as, slow or not as bright.
Right.
But instead of letting those labels define him, he found ways to, adapt and overcome.
Do you think his experience with dyslexia played a role in shaping his resilience and his approach to problem solving?
Absolutely. I mean, he had to develop coping mechanisms.
Right.
To think outside the box.
Yeah.
And to find, creative solutions. He couldn't rely on traditional methods of learning.
Right.
So he had to forge his own path.
Yeah.
And I think that translated beautifully into his business career.
It's almost like he developed this mental agility, right? That allowed him to see opportunities where others saw obstacles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He talks about how he learned to delegate tasks that were challenging for him.
Right.
To surround himself with people who had different strengths.
Yeah.
He turned what many would perceive as a weakness into a strategic advantage.
That's amazing. And it wasn't just dyslexia he had to overcome.
No.
I mean, Home Depot faced some pretty significant hurdles in its early days.
Oh, they did.
Didn't they?
Yeah. There were times when the company was struggling financially.
Oh, wow.
Teetering on the brink of collapse.
Oh,
They even faced a hostile takeover attempt at one point.
Can you explain what a hostile takeover is for our listeners who aren't familiar with the term?
Yeah, sure. Essentially, it's when one company tries to take control of another company against the wishes of its management.
Okay.
It can be a very aggressive
Wow.
and complex process,
Yeah.
often involving buying up a large number of shares or making a public bid.
So how did Langone handle that pressure?
He remained calm,
Yeah.
analytical,
Mm-hmm.
drawing on the resilience he had honed throughout his life.
Yeah.
He was meticulous in his approach, studying the situation carefully
Mm-hmm.
and strategizing his response.
Okay.
He also wasn't afraid to seek advice
Right.
and counsel from trusted mentors and advisors.
He seems to have this unwavering belief in himself.
He
This
does.
confidence that he can figure things out no matter how daunting the challenge.
And it's not just blind faith.
Right.
It's rooted in his experience. He's learned from his failures,
Yeah.
including a significant financial setback early in his career,
Oh, wow.
when an energy sector company he invested in went bankrupt.
That's gotta be tough.
It's that classic entrepreneurial spirit,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
That willingness to take risks,
Hmm.
to learn from mistakes,
Yeah.
and to keep pushing forward even when faced with setbacks.
It makes me think about all the times I've let, fear or self-doubt hold me back from pursuing something I was passionate about.
Yeah.
Langone's story is a powerful reminder that sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith.
Absolutely. And it's not just about taking risks.
Yeah.
It's about surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
Langone talks extensively in the book about the importance of building a strong team,
Mm.
of finding mentors and partners
Yeah.
who share your vision
Right.
and values.
He emphasizes the importance of integrity a lot, too.
He does.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's not just about making money.
Right.
It's about doing business the right way,
Yeah.
treating people with respect, building trust.
For him, integrity is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
It's the foundation of any successful endeavor, whether in business or in life.
And I think that's reflected in his approach to philanthropy,
It is.
which is another fascinating aspect of his story.
His philanthropic work is truly remarkable.
It is.
The sheer scale of his donations to NYU Langone Health, for example,
Oh, yeah.
is staggering.
What do you think drives this passion
You know,
through giving back in such a significant way?
I think it's rooted in his belief that those who have achieved success have a responsibility to use their resources to make a positive impact on the world.
Yeah.
He sees philanthropy as a way to address social issues,
Right.
to create opportunities for others, and to leave a lasting legacy.
And it's not just about writing a check.
No.
He's deeply involved in the organizations he supports,
Yeah.
serving on boards, advocating for causes he believes in, using his platform to inspire others to give back.
He's particularly passionate about education and healthcare,
Right.
seeing them as the cornerstones of a thriving society. His support for the Horatio Alger Association,
Yeah.
which provides scholarships to students who have overcome adversity,
Right.
is a testament to his belief in the power of education to transform lives.
It's almost like he's paying it forward,
He is.
creating this ripple effect of opportunity that extends far beyond his own personal reach.
Exactly, and it all ties back to his belief in the power of capitalism to do good.
Yeah.
He sees wealth creation as a means to an end, a way to empower individuals and communities to flourish. It's a powerful idea, that we can actually use wealth creation to help people.
It is. But Langone doesn't shy away from acknowledging the criticisms
Oh, yeah, there are definitely criticisms.
leveled against capitalism. He recognizes that there's potential for greed,
Yeah.
exploitation, and widening inequality.
Right. But he argues that those issues, they aren't like inherent flaws in the system itself.
Right, right.
They're more like, the result of ethical lapses
Okay.
and a lack of social responsibility.
So it's not about dismantling the system,
No.
but about ensuring that it operates within a framework of ethical conduct.
Exactly.
What are some of Langone's thoughts on how to achieve that balance?
Well, he talks a lot about the importance of a moral compass,
Okay.
of businesses operating with a sense of purpose that, goes beyond just profit maximization. He believes that businesses have a responsibility
Yeah.
to their employees, their customers, their communities,
Mm-hmm.
and the environment.
It's interesting because he doesn't advocate for heavy-handed government regulation.
No, not really.
He seems to have more faith in the free market's ability to self-regulate,
Yeah.
assuming ethical leaders are at the helm.
He does. He believes that businesses,
Mm-hmm.
when they're driven by a strong sense of purpose
Right.
and integrity, are the best equipped to actually solve social problems. He argues they have the resources,
Oh,
the innovation,
Mm-hmm.
and the agility to make a real difference.
But is individual responsibility enough?
Well,
Can we just rely on the goodwill of corporations
that's
to
it.
address these systemic issues like poverty, inequality, and climate change?
That's a complex question.
Uh,
And there's no easy answer.
right.
Langone's perspective is that a thriving free market,
Okay.
fueled by ethical businesses,
Mm-hmm.
creates more opportunities for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It generates wealth, which can then be used
Okay.
to address social problems through philanthropy
Okay.
and investment in underserved communities.
His own philanthropic work certainly reflects that belief.
It does.
But, some might argue it's a Band-Aid solution.
Yeah.
That we need more systemic changes
Right.
to create a truly just and equitable society.
There's a valid point there.
Yeah.
Some people believe that stronger government intervention, regulations,
Mm-hmm.
and social safety nets are necessary to level the playing field and make sure everyone has a fair shot.
Right, right.
Others argue that those measures stifle innovation
Yeah.
and economic growth, ultimately hurting the very people they're intended to help.
It's a debate that's been raging for decades.
It has.
And I think Langone's story offers a compelling perspective.
It does.
Even if you don't agree with, all of his conclusions.
Right.
What I find most interesting is his willingness to engage in the conversation, to acknowledge the complexities, and the need for thoughtful solutions.
He doesn't shy away from the tough questions.
No, he doesn't.
And he encourages us to do the same.
So where do we go from here? What can our listeners, who may not be billionaires or CEOs, do to make a positive impact?
I think Langone's story offers some valuable insights.
Okay.
It starts with individual responsibility. It's about living with integrity, treating others with respect, and supporting businesses that align with our values. It's about using our voices and our wallets to encourage ethical conduct and social responsibility.
And it's also about finding, our own unique ways to contribute.
Absolutely.
Whether it's through volunteering, supporting local charities, or simply having thoughtful conversations with our friends and families about these important issues.
Langone's story really reminds us that we all have a role to play in shaping the world that we want to live in.
It does.
It's not about waiting for someone else to fix things. It's about taking ownership and making a difference, however small, in our own spheres of influence.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with a sense of inspiration. And, a renewed commitment to living with intention and purpose. Langone's story is a powerful reminder.
It is.
That even in a system as complex and often flawed as capitalism, individuals can make a positive impact.
They can. It's a call to action.
It is.
An invitation to participate in the conversation. And to contribute to building a more just, equitable, and prosperous future for all.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration.
Yes, thank you.
Of Ken Langone's life and philosophy.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope it's sparked your curiosity, challenged your assumptions, and inspired you to action.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Yes.
Keep learning, keep questioning.
Keep growing.
And keep striving to make a difference in the world.